What is happening? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Honey Badger Nation. What's up, fellas?
What up?
Hello, hello.
Mid-September. I know, Al, you got something big coming up. A couple days.
Allison just gave me the T-shirts. They literally just came in hot off the press, but check out the back.
That's pretty dope. I like it.
I love it.
We'll send some to you guys.
That's a subliminal message as to what you can expect if you're attending this year's Rock and Rescue. It's going to be that much fun.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and we got the black.
Yeah, they're pretty similar. That's a little bit darker.
There's the black.
There's the black.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah, we're excited.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, 2 days away, and look like it's going to be some fall weather. We got about 60, 65 degrees, so sweater weather. But better than rain. Knock on wood. We've avoided a rain out for 7 years, and we're going to keep that trend going, but it's just going to be a little chilly. That's okay. We just need to do a little more dancing, a little more loving.
Thursday evening.
That's it.
In the land.
In the land.
Rock and Rescue, man. It's exciting. Full house.
Yeah. We're at 750, over 750 tickets, and we'll probably clear over, I'd say, 850 by the time the show gets here. You know how that goes.
Yeah. Good stuff. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you got any questions, anything on your mind, feel free to throw us a comment, and we'll dive in and unpack. But what's been happening? Any news to share with Honey Badger Nation?
Yeah, I mean, Jay, you got some news to share?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you, Al, since your calendar's been full.
Indeed, it has. Yeah, I mean, I got my notepad full of all my conversations I've had the last 2 weeks, and I'll tell you this: it's refreshing. I got on a call earlier this week with a broker, and this gentleman has a 250 agent brokerage. Can't mention the brand or anything like that, but bottom line was this gentleman saw your webinar. Was like, yeah, I just want to check this out, really just for him and his small little team he has within his own brokerage. But he's like, we have an antiquated model. This guy's been in the business for 45 years, by the way. He's an OG.
OG.
Yeah, for real. And he's just like, I can't believe everything that you guys have put together. Like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. He's like, I can't unsee it. I'm like, familiar. Sounds super familiar. He's like, but seriously, like, why would you go anywhere else? And I just love, those are just like the refreshing things to hear again, because for 6 years we have poured everything we got into this, into Honey Badger Nation, and making sure that our value proposition was solid and something that people would never want to leave. And so it's good that, see people see it. I hopped on a one-on-one with one of our teams here in Ohio, and basically went through, all the things that they get. And it's just another reminder that we have to keep repeating ourselves over and over again. I know we come on here, but get to Honey Badger Nation, get into the Kajabi. Everyone should have, a free access. And I went through it all, and I just hadn't been through it in a minute. Like everything that's loaded into Kajabi, as far as the free training, the Jay Abraham stuff, the the CHSA, CHBA stuff that's loaded in, and then there's a whole suite of other things that are in there for training purposes. And I just, I went through it because I was actually showing people. And so if you haven't, get in there. If you haven't really, I think you're going to be blown away at the amount of just amazing content that's in there to help you grow your business. And of course, get that to your people and your organization as well. It needs to trickle down that way. So,
yeah. And I think it's worth kind of repeating, and because I just got off of a conversation walking, somebody through, it's Hormosi's value process, right? Value creation process. And so I was walking him through it, and he's like, man, I got to get to the pain points. I said, you got to get to their desires first. Like, what are they trying to accomplish? What's the goal? What are they looking for? And he, he rattled off, hey man, they want to make more money. They want to work less. And they don't really care to pay for leads. He goes, that's the conversations I'm having, with real estate agents. And we, the three of us know it can only be three things, right? It's either traffic, it's conversion, or it's fulfillment. And I think a lot of real estate agents can fulfill, especially working with buyers and sellers. They got that down. When it comes to agent attraction, it's the value promise. Can you keep the promise that you make to the agents to fulfill on what you're telling them? So we were talking about, he said, I believe that a lot of these agents, they're struggling with conversion of stuff. I was like, okay, great. Maybe so, maybe no, but that's where you want to focus. But the value creation that we were talking about was, okay, their desire is to make more money, work less, and not pay for leads. You have to be able to show them a path for that to be true. And then do they believe it? And then you got to show them, proof. And he's like, well, these young cats are where we were 12 years ago. I said, then you got to show them the path. And that has to be greater, because this is the other part of the equation. That has to be greater than the time it's going to take and the effort and sacrifice to make that true. And that value has to be more than what their investment. And that's where a lot of real estate agents get tripped up trying to come to teams, because they're like, oh, 50-50, because the value seems down here, but they make that 50-50 look here. And so it's like what you were saying, this is what I was saying, because that makes the value so much greater. And then you look at their investment to come over. That's where we have to get to with what we're trying to, the value, and articulate the value. And it was like, I was like, well, guys, they're like, well, how can I help? How can we help with? I said, well, you have internal training. I said, but you also have CHSA, CHBA to give them. You also have a call with Wally you're able to give them. I mean, shit, me and John Harp do a call at 1:30 Central every week. That is nothing but brand new agent, stage 1, stage 2 agent training. Like, you guys have all of this here, but you have to stack it into the value. And I think, just because that's articulated well in the webinar, I mean, the value is visible. And so it's like, even with them, man, it's like, create something visible, let them see it, open it up, show them Kajabi, show them all the access to stuff that they have to, show them the training. Hey, you're struggling with leads. Braden Kinder was set up. I don't know. I mean, I would love to have some metrics around what he's been able to do, and proof, not only the proof, but like how many webinars he's, funnels he's set up, how much training he's done. They have access to that every Friday. And so there's just things there to help every agent, and coming from a Honey Badger Nation, the value that you guys have. But it's the one thing, knowing you have it. And then it's the second thing that we always talk about, is being able to articulate that value.
Indeed.
Value unarticulated is value unappreciated.
You unappreciate it.
And that is simply what we just need to keep iterating on and doing better, is articulating the value and repeating and articulating it better and showing examples and all those things. But, John, going back to you and John Harp, is that something that you guys are doing? You said every week you're doing?
Yeah, we have, I set up the, just kind of the Coach Code Facebook group, and we go live in there every Tuesday at 1:30 Central. And it's John Harp's process. I mean, it's his launch process. It's his fast start program. It's his value articulation. And he just walks through it. We just break it down every week. We take one little segment and we let agents know, hey, here's what you need to be thinking about. What are your lead sources? Like, how are you going to get there? And it's like, if you're a stage 1, stage 2 agent, if you're not brand new, Like, have you looked over the last 10 transactions? Where did they come from? And what's that lead source? And can you do more of it? And as we know, real estate agents, they don't squeeze all the juice out of the opportunity. And it's like, I had X number come from here. It's like, well, can we do more? Can we do better with that? And really finding their lane to run in to create these opportunities. But it goes back to the number one thing, man. They gotta get clear. And I think even, you guys listening into this call, clear around your business, but also if you're trying to increase headcount, I mean, you got to get clear. And I loved, what we talked about on the leaders call yesterday, jumping into the rapid funnel, the Honey Badger app, which all of you guys can go to Honey Badger Nation and get the app. But I didn't realize Michael's training was in there. So Michael's training's in there for agent attraction because you came right on top of it and did the 10 by 10. It's in there. And then Al, you took all of the best nuggets, even Rob Flicks, and did a live presentation at Icon Workspace and recorded it and put it in there. So the training is available for all of these Honey Badgers inside of the Honey Badger app. And I mean, it's just I was like, damn, seeing that yesterday was really good to go back and see it.
Yeah, I think, and Jay, I know you've you had this realization yourself when the webinar started hitting hard and your calendar started getting filled up, with all these prospects, and you were using the app more than you've ever used it.
Yeah.
I think the realization that I had or have had just in the last 2 weeks, because I've used the app, but I've never used it to the extent of putting this many prospects in it. And I think that my biggest takeaway is this is a numbers game. What's super cool about the app, you start putting people in there. Some people ain't going to watch it, but some people are. And when they start to, they do go down the rabbit hole. They're just one after the other. The other thing that I will tell you is get them on the campaigns that are set up. There's 2 different campaigns. One's for a solo agent. One's for a team leader broker. Put them on the appropriate email campaign. I'm going to tell a story. So we had a prospect, young guy, been licensed just not even 6 months. He sold 10 homes with his current team. He just transferred his license yesterday. He's coming over. But what I did, as soon as I had my first conversation with him, I put him on the email campaign, which immediately sends out the first email. And I didn't know this, but it was the 8 stages. He texted me back after he got that message and he goes, Al, I need to be at icon level. Can you help me get there? He looked at the document and saw the stages and he recognized where he was and he immediately recognized where he wanted to be. We talk about clarity. It doesn't get more clear. I mean, obviously, there's planning it's going to go into, executing on that, but he got clear immediately, where his B was. He wants to get from A to B. And it became clear, not only, but we gave it a naming convention. It's icon. He's like, I want to get the icon. So I just keep being a bigger believer in that document that you guys created. I don't know how many years ago. The funny thing, it wasn't even for EXP. Yeah. I don't think, right? That was, why did you guys create? What was the original purpose behind creating
2013?
Yeah, I mean, it was, we had just discovered and working with, I think at the time we were trying to create a really clear understanding of where an agent was, what their problem was, and how we were going to solve it with the product mix that we had at NAEA at the time. So we had introduced a group coaching program because most of our coaching was most of the clients that could afford our coaching would come to us at stage 3 and above. So they were doing 20 plus transactions. And we weren't even, I mean, our sales team wasn't even allowed to sell anybody that was doing less than that. That was a complete no-no. So because, they didn't usually have the money. They didn't have the money. They had to go buy technology. Usually lead generation was going to be their problem. So they had to go buy technology, which was back then it was more than $1,000, $1,500 a month for one of the tools that you would use to do that. Plus they're paying, $1,200, $1,300 a month in coaching to us. But then we introduced the group coaching because there was this big gap, and a lot of agents, where most agents are, and that's stages 1, 2, and 3, really stages 1 and 2 for the most part. So we created a group coaching, which was more around lead generation and conversion, right? It was the skills training, the CHSA, CHBA type training. And so we created that just to, to identify where each agent was when we talked to them. Hey, we know that they're in stage 3. This is typically what their problems are. This is typically what has to be in place for them to move to the next level. So if they're stuck at one of these levels, it should explain, that, if they're looking at that document, they should be like, yeah, that's definitely where I'm at. That's what it feels like. And so, yeah, that was the reason we created it. Just, looking under the hood of literally thousands of agents for, more than a decade, we understood the problem, that agents had at every stage of the business, and how to get, what was the best way to solve that and move to the next, to the next level. And of course, at every level, there's a new, ceiling you hit and a new problem. So that document isn't an ascension plan, more so it's an identify where you're at. So we can, identify and solve that problem to get you to the next level where you're going to run into a new problem that you'll get stuck at. And so, but yeah, that was the reason we created it. But it usually resonates. We've been doing this long enough now. During these types of calls, when we're like when we did the death of the teams call, the 3 of us did that time, and people were like hitting us up later, going, "Man, I feel like you were literally sitting in my living room talking to me." Right? Like, I think it's really super important for agent attraction that you really truly understand the problem the customer has, the agent has. What problem are they trying to solve? Where are they stuck? And when you can really get clear on understanding what that, what stuck is and what stuck feels like, then you can really craft a message around how to help them solve it. And that's what we try to do with all the agent attraction tools, with the videos that we have, is we just have a really good understanding of what it feels like to be stuck, because we've all been there. And then we've helped people through that, through the coaching over the years. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's, the reason we created it. Was the reason I put that in the very first email, was, again, identifying what we all say over and over again is, the first step is you got to get clarity on where you're at. Starts with your current situation, where you're at, where you're trying to get to. And if you can get people into that mindset of understanding, hey, here's where I'm at, here's where I'm trying to go, then, the gate of the mind opens up, and they're more open to, hey, maybe this is a solution that can help me now that I understand my problem better. Maybe these people can help me. Right.
Dude, it's everything. Like, if you're skipping the step of trying to figure out what their problem is, then you're going to be completely missing an opportunity to connect, build trust. Like, it's everything, because without you at least being a bridge or a compass to the solution to one of their problems, what reason do they have motivationally to even make a move anywhere? Right. It's the toughest people that we've ever spoke to are the ones that refuse to believe or admit that they have a problem. Those are the toughest. Like, things are great here. I have no problems. Well, I don't know, I can help you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've only had one call like that, and man, it was painful. The guy didn't have any goals. He didn't know how much money he made. He didn't know how much money he wanted to make. And I was like, dude, why are you even on this call? Like, if you don't even know how much money you make or how much money you want to make, like, there ain't no reason for me to talk to you. I can't help you. What am I going to help you do? Be more confused? I mean, I don't know how to help people that don't. And that, so it's rare to run into somebody like that. But that's not a person I want to talk to. That's not who we're looking for.
No.
That's a great way to put it. Right. It's that, pretty quick, right, when you get on and you're having those conversations, and if that's the type of person that you're looking for. But also too, like the webinar and the content, that kind of deselects people, right? It's the deselection process. Like they kind of gravitate away, which is fine, because we're just, we're wanting to talk to people that are looking for that opportunity.
There's plenty of people that don't sell any real estate and have no desire to improve. I mean, I think, what was it, John? We pulled it up in DFW when we started Partner. It was something like 55,000 agents in the DFW area. And I can't remember. Actually, that's not true. I think it was 30, maybe it was 30. Whatever the number was, it was 55% of them had not sold a house in the last 12 months. Right. It was more than half of the real estate agents had not sold a house in the past 12 months.
That was licensed.
Yeah, there was licensed. I mean, that's an incredible number. And I'm sure a handful of those people would have loved to have met us, that a year prior to that. Because, whatever their goals were to get into real estate, they obviously, probably didn't make it. And so, we can help those people that want help and plug them into a system and a company that provides all the tools that they need, and we can provide the support and the training and the roadmap to get them to success. I mean, that's a huge leg up compared to what they get going somewhere else. A lot of empty promises and basically every agent I've talked to, and now you're getting a dose of this now. It's like, they're lucky to still be alive. You know what I'm saying? Like they're on the, they don't know what to do. They don't know who to turn to. They've tried everything. Nothing's working. They like their broker, but they're clearly not, they don't have a clear path to success. That's every other brokerage in the country like that. They don't get provided what we can do for agents. Like it feels good that we can actually help people. I think that's of critical importance if we want to attract more agents to the company. But it still baffles me that other companies don't try to solve the number one problem agents have, which is getting customers right out of the gate.
Right.
So, you're limited to your sphere of influence and random luck in this business if you don't have a plan for how you're going to get new customers.
Yeah, that's it. And I think too, even you look at those 8 stages. I mean, it's in there. It's being able to get that traction. But stages 3, 4, and 5, it takes some type of predictable system to be able to get in. Meaning, you spend X number of dollars, then you acquire a client, close transaction. And I think, even we're talking about the webinar, that's like, if we spend X number of dollars, what the result is going to be. And what you're trying to get it down to is dollar amount in day, almost time frame that happens. And so really to move through those stages to get to that next, you've got to have some type of predictable lead gen strategy, be it with what Braden helps with Facebook, running your own campaigns, or working with somebody to help with some pay-per-click, utilizing, obviously the KV core as we've all used all the different platforms over the years, but we knew, hey, it was going to generate X number of leads. We were going to spend this. It would generate X number of leads. We knew percent wise what was going to close out, and we knew time frame. So being able to have some of that is key. We lost Cuz. Hopefully he'll jump back in here. But I saw the question here, Al, which, Honey Badger apps. But if you go to honeybadgernation.com, honeybadgernation.com, there's only one there. It says Agent Attraction App. That is it.
Yep.
That is it.
Yep. Carolyn, the webinar, you can go to winbeforeyouStart.com, I believe. And you could register. I wouldn't go through the entire funnel all the way getting into my calendar, but you could certainly at least watch it and watch a replay of it.
Love it.
Oh, here's another announcement. I wanted to wait for you guys. Oh, there we go. Let's do the announcement.
I had to reboot my Chrome in order for me to share it. But I was gonna, for those that haven't seen the document, that's the 8 stages.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Screenshot that, or I don't know if we can add a file to the chat or whatever, but that's it. And
the thing too is, that feeling, what it feels like. And Al, you talked about that. Hey, I need to get to icon. And, you look at the criteria that we put, team size, situation, whatever. You necessarily don't have to get to the transactions, team size or whatever, but that goal is freedom. And that's what we're all looking for. Everything we're doing is we're moving closer to our freedom. And so this is just a great breakdown of, kind of identifying current situation, pains, and then, looking for, that next step, that X factor in the goal for moving from one stage to the next.
Yep.
Love it.
EXPCon coming up October 2nd, 3rd. Little announcement. Come have a cocktail with us and come meet up with us. We are going to be having a little shindig Tuesday the 3rd. It's Tuesday the first, I think it's the first day, first or second day. And it's going to be at the House of Blues, right, Jay? It's inside the House of Blues, called B-Side. So B-Side, we're going to have a registration for you guys to sign up. We're also going to have little poker chips for your admission to get in. And we haven't done that in a couple years. Look forward to seeing everybody on Tuesday, the 3rd, October 3rd. B-Spot, write it down. Do we have a time in there, Jay? Was it?
We do. I can't remember. I think it's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. House of Blues it's in the same hotel, Mandalay Bay. Is that right?
Yep. Mandalay Bay, 7 o'clock. That's it.
Honey Badger Bash.
Let's go. We got our friends with realty.com that are going to be sponsoring it. We got some really great products for lead gen. And did Sphere Rocket pick up? I don't remember if they did or didn't.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but come see our friends anyway. Cool.
Love it. Cool. Those are the announcements. Those are the resources. What's the direction? You guys have any questions, need anything, feel free to reach out, connect. And it's all about building that momentum.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
See you at the top.
We're from the top.